are the team at Lead. I would like to introduce Soumya as well to the audience. She is a seasoned marketing leader with over 8 years of experience in digital and performance marketing. She has worked with leading brands such as Lead Group, Greg, Tata Click, Maruti, Woot, Decathlon, MPL, and many more. With a strong background in education, Soumya has spent the last 5 years at Lead Group, where she spearheaded marketing strategy. Her efforts have led to remarkable school growth outcomes through her work. She has played a vital role in shaping how technology can transform schools and improve learning outcomes for students across India. Please join me in welcoming Soumya Srivastav to our webinar. Thank you so much, Soumya, for agreeing to do this webinar. We are grateful to you and we would love to learn from you. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Garima. Good evening, everyone. So I think all of us are already aware of the topic. All of us know that it's more about the digital platform, the social media that we are going to understand more about in this webinar. Before I start, I actually just request everyone to keep on posting your questions in case you get any, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Let's also learn from each other. So maybe if you have some comments, if you want to share some views, some thoughts, feel free to do that in chat box, and we'll take that through the webinar. So cool. So I think we'll start then.
I would just request everyone to post their questions in the Q&A window. In the chat box, it becomes a little difficult to find the questions. So we will take the questions at the very end. You can post your questions in the Q&A window, please. Thank you. Yeah, we can start.
Sure. Cool. Okay. So before we start, Garima, can we start with the first slide? Yeah. Hi. So we know about Facebook, right? All of us are aware of this social media platform, which is like used everywhere, like by everyone, almost everyone. And this is such a platform that has got so many audiences, specifically in India, which we are going to discuss in the later slides. But in general, what do you think Facebook does to you? Like, how does it help each one of us? Or what do you do on Facebook? Can we have those like messages in the chat box? Can you put down exactly how do you use Facebook? What is it used for? General, regular usage you can put down in case you're using it for some specific things. Okay, for entertainment. Okay. What else? I think all of us use that for all the memes that we see, all sort of videos, uh, to post videos, reels. Okay, social connectivity. Very rightly mentioned. It's the like today's way of connecting with your near and dear ones. School account for awareness. Okay, that's a very nice thing that you mentioned, Jigneshi. We use FP to enhance knowledge. Okay, I would certainly want to understand more about this, how, what all things to use Facebook for this particular purpose. Reels about activity. I'm guessing this is a school activity. Connecting with old lost friends. Very nice. Okay. And that's it. Cool. Okay, so that's perfect. That's actually brilliant. So all of us are active on Facebook, Instagram, right? And that is exactly why we want this session even more, when we want to understand how we can actually leverage this great platform for our schools. So, Garima, can we move to the next slide, please? So, of course, all of us use this. We can move to the next slide. Okay, so why Facebook? We have all shared exactly what we use Facebook for. So if you look at with a lens of a school, is actually a great platform to establish trust with your parents, to turning that trust into admissions. So if you use that perfectly, strategically, you can actually reach as many audience, as many as parents possible in your locality, in the nearby areas, and you can actually garner admissions from this platform. And that is exactly what we are going to discuss today. What are different strategies? What are do's and don'ts? What you should do as a school? What are some optional things, but good to have, things like that. Okay. So, no, can you go back? Okay. So before I show you those memes, so like we mentioned, it's a great platform for learning. Someone mentioned they learn from Facebook, right? And how do you learn? How do you know that exactly what you want to learn is something that you're getting on Facebook? That is because of a very important thing in digital media word, and that is called targeting. So you are the right target for some ad or some sort of content which is teaching you about something, and therefore you come across those content. So now move to the next slide, please, Garima. Yeah, so like you can see this particular meme where these two people are sitting, they are talking about their fight, that they had this fight and now suddenly husband is getting all divorce kind of content, right? Now, why does that happen? And I'm sure you must have come across some similar things in your life where maybe you were looking for some trousers or some shoes somewhere, and suddenly you start seeing ads about shoes. You start seeing ads about your pants, or maybe if you are into politics, you are following some particular leader. Now you're seeing more content about that particular leader. Same applies for whether it's positive or negative about that particular leader, but you start getting that, right? So that is how effective and targeted Facebook is. That anything that you think about or talk about, or anything that you come across in your daily life and you're interested in, Facebook starts showing you that thing. When I'm saying Facebook, please consider Facebook and Instagram both. So they both come under Meta. So I'll be referring to both of them as Facebook right now. So that is, and I'm pretty sure you have experienced that. You can comment yes or no in the chat box so that we can understand if this applies to you as well. Garima, can you click? Yeah. So this is another example where one friend is actually experiences, she gained some weight and she was actually worried about this. Awesome. Very good. So Sarita ji says yes. Yeah, Yulis aap keh rahe ho. So that is a very natural thing that we have come across, and this has become like a part of our life where we think about something, we want to do something, and all of a sudden we start seeing content around that matter, right? And the second example on the screen that you're seeing is again an example of how a friend was actually worried about an increased weight, and now she has started getting ads about losing weight, right? You will also start seeing yoga. If suppose you just thought about that, yeah, I should try doing yoga, maybe next morning you start seeing all yoga posts, all yoga content. So that's like how Facebook works. Can we move to the next slide? And very often, again, another example where a person who just bought a house has started seeing ads about interior designing. The person will also start seeing ads about painting and other stuff that you require when you move into a new house. Click, please. Yeah. So more often, how does it feel like in general? Anyone who's not that aware of how Facebook works, for them it's more about, okay, something is giving me signs, right? The first image that you're seeing, two ladies talking to each other, and one of them is saying like, the universe is giving me sign about this XYZ thing, but that is nothing but the targeted ad or the targeted content that Facebook shows. So the idea was to show all of these ads, all of these content was to make you realize that how Facebook works and how you can utilize that to your benefit. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So, um, yeah. So that is something that we have understood, that targeting is the absolute requirement whenever you are talking about doing any sort of engagement or traffic or lead activity or admission activity via your platform, right? So that is something that you cannot deny. So how we are going to discuss and what are the elements, like I mentioned before, we are going to discuss exactly how are you going to use Facebook. We'll also discuss about some of the do's and don'ts, and I'll give you some tools as well which you can use to post your content. Can we move to the next slide? And this is a question for all of us. Garima, can we have the poll on the screen? So can you actually choose how many people in India use Facebook? You have four options. Is it 15 crore, 30, 45, 50? Okay, I can see everyone doing it. Yeah. Okay, we'll wait for 10 seconds for everyone to vote. Garma, you can let us know when the poll is done. Okay, Ashish, sir, we have checked your message. 50 crores, I think you're not able to click on it. Cool.
Okay, should we stop the poll?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, okay, can we have the result of poll on the screen?
I think, yeah, 52% of the people are saying that it is more 50 crore plus.
That is absolutely right. So imagine in India, more than 50 crore people are using Facebook in their day-to-day life. And to give you a split, out of this 50 crores, 68% are men, the rest are women, and this volume is increasing every day. To give you further example, this particular 52 CR or 50 crore plus people that we have in India accounts for 38% of total Facebook user base. So that's like amazing, a great point that we can use, again, leverage to our example. No, it's actually 52 crores, the exact number, as per Facebook themselves. Yeah. Okay. Can we move to the next slide? The answer is D, actually, Abhishek ji. If you look at Facebook platform, maybe we can share those details with you after the session. The answer is D. It's around 52 CR. Okay, so now that we know that the majority of Indian population are using Facebook, and not just this population, this usage, these people who are using Facebook are increasing each and every day. So now we know that the platform definitely is an effective thing that we have to utilize. But why Facebook? How does it work? One part of it we did understand, the targeted audience, which you can see on the screen, the third part, right? The first part, again, we know that more than 50 crore people are already active on Facebook, the reach part. So we know how many people we can actually reach within in our locality as well. The third part is the cost effectiveness. Imagine you have to go, let's say, to 1 lakh people and ask them, or do some marketing for them, ask them to do admission or apply for admission in your school. Imagine the cost it will incur versus the cost a single digital platform occurs, right? The difference in these two platform, in these two marketing, would be in one marketing effort where you are going door to door, you are maybe using your pamphlets or you are using all newspaper ads. Now, all of these, the cost that you incur here versus the ones that you put in digital platform, there's a huge difference. You actually pay like much, much lesser than any physical or offline marketing that you do. And therefore, we are trying to understand how we can try this for admissions. Garima, if you can move to the next slide. So now we'll be going into actual strategy. We have just covered the basics or what are certain scenarios, elements which is related to Facebook, but let's go more into the strategies that actually helps, right? So I'll be covering three important things. One of them will be how do you plan your presence on Facebook, right? The second pillar that I'll be talking about will be more about how do you create your content, what type of posts or reels, or exactly what you should show in your content. The third part, which again is very important, and we discussed about that earlier as well, yeah, how do you run a targeted campaign, right? And the final part, which is outside these three pillars of digital, is how you can actually handle these leads, right? So running an ad, doing your perfect content targeting, then actually utilizing or maybe utilizing and leveraging all these leads that you have garnered and converting that to admission is equally important. And that is again something that we are going to cover in this particular session. So Garma, we can move to the next slide. Okay, so the first pillar that I mentioned, which is more about planning Facebook, right? So, just one minute. Yeah. So, planning Facebook, right? So, how do you plan Facebook? What do you do? Garima, next slide, please. So, for any school, there are two important things um, which will actually help you to reach your audience first thing. Second, will actually build trust with your audiences. I'm actually switching off this chat. Garima, please let me know if there is any chat that I need to address during
Sure.
the webinar. Yeah, because that's actually disturbing. It's popping every now and then. Um, okay, so there are two important things. How do you create your Facebook account? You create an account for yourself, right? It's a simple account where you go, you post reels, simple images. You also talk about, you put up some stories, and that is how a simple account is. But when it comes to an organization, a school, a company, a brand where a group of people come together to do certain things. Now, in this case, you need to create a page or you need to create a group. Okay. Now, anyone who knows the difference between a page and a group? Okay. So, page used for business. Okay. Correct. So page is used for business, that is rightly mentioned. But again, there are two things. There is page and there is group, right? How do you know which one do you need for your business or do you need both? Right. So, Garima, you can actually click. So between page and group, you should know a page is a must have for any school or organization or a company or a group of people, like I mentioned. It's a must have. Now, why do you actually have? Because that is the public face for your school, right? A page is a platform which you can use and can appear as a polished, professional first impression for your school, and therefore it is a must have. Now, what are the different audiences that you can actually cater like via your page? Is actually everyone. Right. So there will be followers, and followers could be your teachers, could be all the stakeholders, could be even students, because students above 13 year of age are allowed on Facebook. So it could be students, and it could be anyone outside these circles. So it could be friends of your teacher who is already following your page. So it could be anyone. So it's mostly open to everyone, right? Now, what is it best for? So a page is best for showcasing all the achievements that your school has garnered. You can talk about different events that happen in your school. You can talk about different updates. For example, admission opening, exam results. You can talk about if there is some annual function, sports day. All of these different events you can post about them on your page, right? Now, why do you need to do this? So a page which is active, where you're actually putting up posts, and I'll give you an idea exactly how many posts are required. But a page which is active builds trust, and these trust is equivalent or gonna drive your admissions. Page is also great platform to enhance or to start word of mouth. Now, what is word of mouth? Word of mouth, if I tell someone about about one XYZ school, now that becomes word of mouth. I tell someone, I tell my friend that, oh, I saw this post of this particular school. They are doing this annual function. I really liked how children are actively participating. I saw children giving speeches, and I'm really curious and really want my child to get admitted to this school because I see the school doing a lot of things. Now, how did I come to this conclusion? After seeing all the posts, after seeing all the updates, and these updates are not once in a while. It's like maybe every week or every 2 weeks I'm seeing one or the other things on this particular page. Not necessary it's about update every time. It could be about different other things as well, which we are going to talk about. But there has to be something on the page, right? So keeping a page alive, active, is equally important. Now, when we are talking about page, and like I said, it's gonna build trust for your school, right? So the tone is very important here, right? The tone has to be polished, should be professional, should be outward facing. So that is something that you have to keep in mind while doing a page. Now, coming to the next part, which is a group. So page, we understood that we need to have a page for sure. Now, a group is an optional thing, right? It's a more about a close thing that you should have for your school, right? Now, for a group, what should I say? Okay, so for a group, let's say it's a private community. When you invite someone at your home, you have a limited number of guests, right? And therefore, there is a limited voices that you can respond to or talk to. So, group is similar to that, right? So, therefore, it's optional, but it is powerful. And why I'm saying it's powerful, because it creates a very close community, which enhances and which directly influences your word of mouth, right? Now in a group, who all should be the participant in a group, right? It could be your existing parents, it could be your teachers, it could be again stakeholders, but of course you should keep it close so that no outsider can respond to these messages. Another thing while doing while creating a group is you should host discussions, right? You should answer parents' query, and there will be a lot of queries that you will come across, right? One very important thing in case of groups, and because it can lead to it leads to a lot of risk where maybe a dissatisfied and unhappy parent can post something which maybe you won't like, right? So having that control in a group is very important. So, for example, there's a setting called only approved by admin. So you can have such settings on so that anyone who wants to post something has to go through your checkpoint, and only then it goes live on the group. But having said that, if you make sure that your settings are on track, only the genuine people are in the group, you can actually create a great, trustworthy, and a collaborative group on Facebook, right? In group, unlike your page, your tone could be a bit casual. It could be more like a family kind of conversation, or a close conversation, a direct conversation, just like a parent teachers meeting, for instance, where you discuss about different things, right? You can also discuss about some scenarios that happens in the world. For example, when NEP 2020 came, right? You could have posted about it, and could have asked, okay, what do you think? Yeah, these are some guidelines from government. I think these are few things which is going to benefit. These are few things which are not going to benefit. What are your thoughts? So this is just one example. Similar to this, you can have different discussions, right? Garima, we can move to the next slide. Now, this is how do you create your school page. You can go through this, you will get the slides, you can go through the steps, and then maybe you can create it then and there, right? I'll also give you tools like I mentioned, which you can use for this thing, right? Garima, we can move to the next slide. Again, this is again how you can create your school group and how you can use it, right? What should be the privacy setting and all, right? Next slide, please. So I'm not going deeper in the steps because it's more about posting picture, what settings you should use, right? Which we have briefly discussed. Okay, now this is one of the strategy, one of the ways how you can interact and engage with your audience, right? So you should also host virtual events for them, right, where they can actually interact with you, right? It's a very powerful strategy when it comes to establishing that conversation with the end audiences. Here actually parents can join. They can join from their home, their offices, anywhere they are, and they can meet teachers, they can ask questions. This is more like a virtual or what's it a like meeting, a virtual meet with your teachers and asking questions instead of groups. So another way of establishing that community, right? Now this is specifically effective post COVID because now the discussions and research are mostly online and people prefer that over a physical meeting. So maybe every now and then you can host certain events for them. Garima, next slide, please. Now, when you're doing all of these things, there is one thing equally important where you have to encourage your parents and students. So you have to encourage them to be involved on your on your page, on your groups, right? And how you can do that? You can do that during your like meetings with them, during the physical meeting, while organizing any virtual meets, right? You can encourage them to share their experiences, right? You can also encourage them to share their photos, reviews, or testimonials on your page and your group, so that that's going to add to your content. Now these are some things that's going to add to the content without you have to create some, right? Next, please. Okay, so the first pillar we have already closed, where we spoke about exactly what's a strategy, what you should create for your digital presence. The second part, like I mentioned, was the communication. What type of content and communication we should be doing, right? Okay, so the first, okay, do we have poll for this, Karima? So before we move to the details, let's do a quick poll. Uh, Yeah, so you can see question on your screen. Like as a parent, what do you think? As a parent, what do you think a parent would click on if they see an ad about number one school in city versus see how we keep your child safe every day? Yeah, okay, nice. So there's a close debate. Nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think everyone has casted their vote.
Yeah, so 58% of people are saying they will click on the second ad, see how we keep your child safe every day, and 42% believe in the first one.
Awesome. ठीक है. So this actually shows how different people respond to different things on the social media, right? And this is exactly what we are going to discuss about, right? So like I can see 58 people actually clicked on see how we keep your child safe every day. Now this is a generic scenario, a generic concern of every parent, right? Where they choose safety and care over anything else, right? So this shows more about that emotional, authentic content performs better than generic slogan. But having said that, we can also not ignore number one school in city, right? Because there are parents who want their child to be in the best school, and they will, for them, the priority is always the top school versus any other school, right? So these two are equally important. Now that we know these two fairly different scenarios, how do we leverage that? Garma, next slide, please. Okay, we can move to the next slide. We'll come back to this one. Okay. Um, slide before. Yeah. Okay. So, like we saw, there are two very different slogans that parent came across, and as a parent we responded differently to them, and therefore it becomes important to keep on experimenting. And when I'm saying experimenting, you should keep on experimenting with two different things. One thought which you think would work. For example, if you think number one school in my area is going to work well, or parents in my locality are looking for two top schools and are not concerned about anything else, even despite that, you should also have one post or maybe one experiment done with another type of content which is totally different from this one. So in the first part you talked about which one is the top performing school or the number one school. In the second experiment or the second post that you're talking about, it should be more about what your school gives, right? What is your USP other than number one? Do you provide convince? Do you provide public like transportation? Do you provide extra curriculum? Do you encourage students to go away from rote learning, for instance, right? So these are few things that you can also try along with the one that you think will work in your area, right? And when you compare the performance of these two content, these two posts, then you'll actually get to know exactly what are people looking more about, right? And then you can decide, then you can build on that particular content. Right. Then, like it's mentioned in the engaging content creation part, that there should be stories regularly. Like we spoke about, there should be a regular stories, there should be a regular post, and you have to build a personal connection with your audience. Next. Now, for doing this, what kind of post do you need? So, to give you an idea, there are posts where you just post one single image. Then there are posts where you post multiple images, which is called carousel. There are posts where you just put up a video. And then there are certain posts which goes in your story and could be a combination of all three. Mostly image and video that goes on your stories, right? So what are like different assets, we call it asset. What are different assets that you should try when you're talking about Facebook? So the most important or the most engaging asset is a video asset, which essentially means that you need to start putting up videos. These videos could be a simple video of your school, maybe an assembly, a video of how assembly happens in your school, how the sports competition happens, how teacher teaches in your school, how students respond, like how maybe about certain competition that happens in your school. You can talk about speech competition that maybe happened. You can put a small video of a student, a girl or a boy, giving speech on some topic. So these are some very basic videos which will not require a lot of video making abilities. It will be a simple video that you have created out of the activities that you happen in your school, and then you just put that on your page or on your group, and you invite comments, likes, right? So these are again going to help you uh, get that leverage, get referrals, get word of mouth, all of that. Next. So these are some of the examples of what kind of content you can put, right? We spoke about videos are a must that you should definitely post, followed by a static image. A static image is a simple photo that you put online, right? And the last one, or the least required one, is the carousel. Carousel is a group of different images that you put on your page, right? That is something that you can skip as well, but you should definitely start with a video and a video and a single image. Right. Now, what a different type of content that you can put, like I was mentioning, campus updates. Right. Something happened in your campus. Maybe you have just built a new basketball court. Put an image. Right. If you have maybe shifted maybe some student in your like in your college, in your school, received an award for something, post about it, right? Something happened in your campus, right? Some new things, maybe some inauguration, you are going for winter vacation, summer vacation, any vacation, some sort of celebration that happens, right? Fancy dress competition, all of these things, put those posts on your page, right? Other then you can also post about questions. Like we were referring earlier, you can post about different questions. Maybe you think about something. What if we introduce this XYZ in a school? What do you think? You can post this in your closed group. Now, in closed group, you will only have your parents, right? And the other right audience who should have a say in whatever you do or in some sort of it, right? You can post those questions there. You can also post about how life in your school looks like, right? That will give the audience a perspective of what they can expect their students, their child to be doing, right? You can also talk about board results. So let's say two or three students of your school go, got, let's say, 99%, 95%. Yeah, these many students of your school were 95% plus achievers in the board exams. So you can post about that as well. Other than this, you can talk about different value that you believe as a school, you believe or promote. Could be social values, could be moral values that you can talk about. And these are some very simple posts that you can do every now and then when you don't have enough posts in hand, right? Uh, Other than this, one very important thing that you can leverage is student parent testimonial. So, asking your happy parents to share their videos, or maybe recording their videos where they're talking about their child's accomplishment, how the school helped their child to grow, right? You can create a simple small video and you can post about that as well, right? You can create a video of your school tour, right? And of course, quizzes, challenges, all of these you can put on your page and keep it open to everyone. Let's see, let everyone likes voting, right? If you ask someone in general as a digital marketer, if I ask a question, I know there will be a lot of people who may not respond to my post, but will definitely respond to the question that I ask. If I give them five options, and that is a very strong proposition, a very strong element that you can utilize. Garima, we can move to the next slide. So this is a rule of thumb. So what you should have on your page, right? So almost 60 to 70% post should go on your page, right? Which is around school culture, values, stories, tips, student life, all of that, right? The rest, 20% should be more about parents, should be around parents, what they feel about your school, how are they seeing their child growing, right? And the rest 10% posts should be admission. So you understand, like out of the total number of posts that you're doing, only 10% or 5 to 10% is going in admission. The idea is you don't want to sound pushy. You don't want people to take your school as if you are asking for admission. It should be the other way around. It should be more like people want admission, and it's more like an advertisement or maybe an opening post that you are letting everyone know that admission cycle has opened, and therefore you are inviting admissions, not like you're asking for it. Right now, this balance actually ensures that you don't come across as only selling, selling, selling. Okay. Before I move to the next pillar, is there any question I can answer? Okay, so I think we are good. Garima, next slide, please. Okay, now the third thing, we spoke about what you have to create. The first pillar was what you have to create a group or a page for your school. The second pillar was what type of content you have to post and what should be the composition of that post, like how many should be around people or your school, what should be around parent testimonial, student testimonial, and what should be around admissions. The third one that we are discussing now is the targeting, right? Garima, next slide, please. So, targeting of Facebook is the real strength, right? That is exactly what you need to reach your audience, despite doing all sort of posts, despite doing regular posts. If you're not reaching to the right audience, you're actually making a big mistake, right? And here a right audience is parents, right? And students of certain age, right? And how do we find out who, like, what all parents we should target? We should find that out basis their interest, or how their interest, or what their behavior in the recent times. Are they looking for admissions? Are they googling about how they can help their child grow, how they can help their child in maths, how they can help their child study science? Are they actually interested? Are they actually involved in their child's growth currently? Of course, every parent is involved in their child's progress, but are they actually currently looking for that? Is something that Facebook allows you to do, and that is what targeting is all about. Um, Garima, next, please. So this is a simple question. Can we have the poll? Yeah. So this is a simple question which, just think about it, about your school. What do you think is the month when your parent decide that they have to take admission to your school? Right? It can vary in different region. It can vary in different states. So use your state, your region as benchmark. Think about how your when do you start getting admissions. Think about that, and then vote the correct or the month that you would prefer.
Most of the people are saying February, Soumya. It's 47% for February. Then November, it's 32%. April has 18%, and June has 3%.
Perfect, perfect. So I'll give you an idea before we close this. This poll gives me an idea of what part of region are most schools associated with. For example, if I see 47%, the majority says February, so that is mostly the north part, right? Someone who says June is someone from the south part, right? And so on and so forth. So that is how the targeting works. So thank you so much, Garima. We can move further. So perfect. So this is the great example, and like you can see on your screen, I'm talking about two different kind of school. One school which starts in April, the other school which starts from June. Correct. Thank you so much, Sharon. So now we know there are different schools. They have different admission cycle, and therefore to understand when to post what, and how do you make sure that it yields admission is very important. Again, the part of targeting, right? So we'll try to understand that. So I'll start with April Start School, right? So every admission, they follow a calendar, right? So if you start showing your ad in March, right, then maybe it's too late for some region, right? Like for example, for a farmer, if we compare this to a farmer, right, if they first, how do they work? They sow a seed, then they harvest. And similarly, Facebook will be running in the same manner where you have to sow the seed and then you have to harvest in the later month, right? So, for instance, in April Start region, we know that the final decision happens in February to March, which most of us like polled for. 47% people said February is the one where parents, they decide if they want to take the admission. So how do you do your activity then, right? What should be your the entire year looking like, right? So for the entire year, that is from April to August, your calendar should be talking about, or your post or your page or your group should be talking about generic school stuff, which is about campus, about achievements, about different activities that's happening, about the virtual events that you are driving, about some polls that you're doing, about some quizzes that you're putting across, right? It should talk about different things. But as soon as you enter August, from August to October, it should be focused towards awareness. And when I'm saying awareness, now your post should be focused about showing about your school, showing specific elements. Now you cannot just plainly go and talk about quizzes or polls, right? You now have to talk about how does curriculum look in your school, right? What extracurricular do you drive? What kind of activities happen? What kind of transportation happens, right? So you have to talk about these elements which are closely related to your school and closely related to a child or a parent's life, right? You have to talk about that phase is called awareness, which you have to do just before the season starts. Now starting November to January, which is like pre-admission time, now this is a point that you have to start inviting people to show their interest. So these interests could be via a Facebook form, which you can attach to your admission post, and where you can ask anyone who's interested, they can fill this form so that we can reach out to you, and then you can come to our school for further discussions. So this is called a lead form, a lead generation form, which you can start using just 2 months before the start of the admission cycle. Now, February and March is the peak period. So this is the time that you have to be very careful in two respect. First one, to have and be aware of how many people have filled the interest form or the lead form. Secondly, that you have to address to these lead forms. Just getting a lead is not important, but addressing them at the right time by the right person is equally important, right? So this is the second thing that you have to do just during your admission cycle, like February to March, for instance, right? And April, of course. Once you are done with all of these things, you'll start getting new admissions, which will start studying from April. Now, for June start region, where school open or the new session starts from June, how does that work? Now, in these, you can use again the same thing. March to May is a period where people will be interested in going, visiting schools, applying for admissions. So 2 months before this period is a period where you have to start generating leads, like we did in April Start Market, where we started generating leads. How will you generate leads? You will assign a lead form to your post, and this post is around admission. So there will be a post about admission. You will attach your lead form, which will take few details of student or parent, and then you will call them to your school saying ki come visit, and we'll do the rest of the things, or maybe we'll proceed with the whole process, right? And before that time, again, before this December to February period, which is September to November, you should start working on awareness. You have to make people aware about your school. You have to create that FOMO in people where they know if they are not admitting their child in your school, maybe they are missing out on a great deal. Right, maybe they'll compromise on their child's growth, maybe they'll compromise on a great infra or maybe a great legacy that they can be a part of, right? So this is a very, very important phase where you have to make people understand more about your school. Of course, you have to take them through entire thing. That can also be about transportation, as basic as that, because that is again equally important for any parent, right? So this is how you have to divide your whole year. And other than these periods, like from September to June, other than these period, you can keep on posting about regular things that's happening in your school. Can we move to the next slide, please? So that was targeting, right? Once you are done with every possible things on digital, you had your page, you had your group, you had put all sort of post content that you think will help boost admissions for your school, or will boost engagement for your school, or will improve your school's reputation in the market. And after that, you have also targeted the right audience with the right content at the right time. Now the next part, and the most important part here, comes about lead handling. Right. Now, before we go into details, before we go into more details about this, let's understand why is this important? Yeah, what is this all about? We know we have generated leads. Now, like there are 100 people who have filled your form and who have said that they want their child to be admitted to a school, right? But the admission hasn't happened yet. So there's a window between that. Now, this window is something that you have to be most careful about. And this is what we are going to learn here. Before we move to the details of this, there's a question. Garima, kyunki, ha. So, what's the most common action parent takes after they see your school ad? So, suppose you have posted something about your school. What are they going to do? Garima, the options, please. And the poll. Okay. Uh, some are saying call directly, fill a lead form, okay. Visit website, okay. Some people are saying WhatsApp messages, okay. Okay, so call directly and visit website are two leading options.
Yeah, I think there is a close call between visit website and call directly. 38% is call directly and 36% is visit the website.
Perfect. So, like we can see, all of us think people do call directly. Now, why do they call directly? It's actually a great answer that I got right. So, this is exactly what happens. Why do you prefer call versus a WhatsApp message? The reason is because you want instant reply, because you don't want to wait, because you want to utilize this time for this particular school, and maybe if it doesn't work out here, you'll try in some other school, right? Or our parent will have a list of schools that he is interested in, and therefore he wants an immediate reply, an immediate confirmation, right? So thank you, Garma. You can close this, right? So now that we know parents are not that patient when it comes to their school, their child's admission, right? And therefore, making them wait any longer will actually result in a lower admission, right? You can expect like that admission count going down with every delay that you do while calling them or visiting or talking to them, discussing with them, right? So we will understand about that. But before that, we should also understand how this whole thing looks like. right? And this is important for you to track how your school is doing. After you have done so many things, you have done a lot of things on digital, you have utilized, you have trained your team to cater to these leads, to these calls, these admission queries. Now you have to understand how do you track and what do you track, right? So the first thing that you should track is the reach. Now, what is a reach? When you post a picture or when you post a video, Facebook gives you a number showing, telling you how many people did this post reach to, like how many people did see your ad or your post, right? That is your reach number, which you should always record whenever you're posting, right? It's specifically when it's around admissions. It's a good idea to do this for all the posts that you do, but in case that's not possible, at least for the ones which is targeted towards parents for driving admission, you should have this record. Other than reach, the next thing that you should know is clicks. Now, what is a click? So suppose suppose for your school, anyone who saw your school while roaming around is a reach. I'm telling you in sense of offline marketing. Let's say if we are talking about something offline, how does it look like? So anyone who sees your school, um, sorry, I just got missed. I'm sorry. So anyone who sees your school is the reach. So these many people saw your school. Anyone who stopped by and inquired at the gate, where's the office? Is there anyone in the office? Can I go for admission? All of that, that becomes your clicks. Anyone who enters the office and requests a admission form becomes your lead. Anyone after filling the form, when they submit the form, that becomes visit. And anyone who finally admit their child in your school becomes the admission. So this is how offline we can actually relate to these things. Now converting this to online, what is a reach? Anyone who has seen your post, all the people, right? Facebook gives you a number, right? Now click. What is a click? Anyone who clicked on your post, maybe to like it, to comment, to share it, to save it, all of that becomes your click, right? Third thing, what is a lead? Anyone who clicked on your post and filled the form and submitted it, that becomes a lead, right? Now, after submitting, if someone still goes on your website, that becomes a visit, or still goes and visits your school physically, that becomes your visit. So you should also count, like out of 100 people who saw my post, 5 of them, or let's say 10 of them, clicked, maybe liked my post, commented on my post, or shared my post. Out of those 10, 5 of them, let's say 8 of them filled the form, filled your lead form. Out of these 8 people, 5 of them came to my school to visit, to check. That becomes visit. And out of these 5 people, 3 of them actually took admission. So admission count will become 3. So this is how out of 100 people who saw your ad, 3 actually converted. And for these 100 people, you're not paying that much, which you would have paid in case of offline. So isn't it cost efficient? Of course. And at the same time, it's creating awareness. People who, maybe I have a friend who has a child who's looking for some good school for her child. Maybe I'll refer your school to that friend of mine. I'll show you a post, right? It's that easy. So, and therefore, these matrices are to be counted so that you understand next time when you do this admission post, how many people are converting, how many people are actually taking admission. Has it improved? Has it dropped? Are you seeing increased number of clicks? Are there more people who are engaging this time? Are there more people who are filling the lead form this time, right? Or are there more people who are visiting your school this time, right? These are some numbers that's going to give you insight. Let's say you see an improved number of clicks or leads, so you'll know like your posts are actually working, people are actually liking your school, it's you're actually like getting successful in creating a trust, building a trust for your school. So therefore these matrices are important. Garma, we can move to the next slide. Okay, we are going to I think it's already 6, so I'll try to cover everything as fast as I can. You can stop me in case you have any queries, if there is any issues that you see. So I'll address that. Okay. So we understood exactly what are different matrices that you need to keep a track of. Now, the next part is after you have kept track of these matrices, what is the other things that you have to make sure while handling the leads? So there are three things here again. First one is the speed, right? How quickly you should respond to a lead that you got. So suppose a person filled a form on your on the lead form on Facebook, said I'm interested, and now should you be okay? I can see two raised hands. Garma, can we unmute someone?
We can take up the questions at the very end. People are posting questions in the Q&A window.
Sure,
Let's wrap this up once and then we can take up the questions.
sure.
Yeah.
I think you can meanwhile you can start posting your questions. I think two hands that I saw, and then I'll try to address them. Okay, so speed uh, on which we were. Okay, so how does speed impact things, right? I filled a form for your like for admission in your school, right? I saw this post, I filled my form, gave you my details along with my phone number. Now, next what? When should you call me next, right? When you should call me next is very important, right? And we'll discuss why, right? So that is speed part. Second thing is system. Right. In fact, let's go through that slides. I don't want to delay it here. Garima, we can move to the next slide. We'll discuss speed in detail. Yeah. Okay. So this is a scenario. Let's say, like I said, I filled a form at 11 a.m. Right. And as a school, you saw my lead. Maybe at the end of the day, you were like, okay, let me call all the leads that I've got, and you gave me a call. What do you think will happen? Yes, recording will be made available. Can we, yeah, do you have any idea what will happen if you call at 6 p.m.? Do you think that parent will still be interested in your school? Garma, you can click. Correct. It's too late. Garma, you can click. Yeah. So the impact is it's too late. So time, speed is very important in this case. In fact, our school, the early that you do a call back will increase your chances of getting admission. Okay, correct. 6 p.m. is not the right thing. So, exactly. So, it's too late because now parent is impatient. He cannot wait for one school alone. He'll make different calls. He'll make calls to other schools as well. And any school who catered to that call immediately or maybe responded back or maybe called back directly or immediately is going to get that admission. But because parents will straightway go visit that school, close all the formalities, and yeah, it's done. So, taking time, making sure you have a system where there are people who cater to these leads whenever you get one is equally important. Right now, there's a question next, which we are going to close ASAP. Garima, next slide, please. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the correct time. Okay. What is okay? So there's a question. If you can answer this. So if you have a call, if you call a lead after 5 minutes, what do you think? How many? What is the chances of getting this admission? Right, versus an hour. So is it gonna double 2x, make your admission 2x? Let's say after you call that person after an hour and you got 5 admission versus you called people like 5 minutes after you after they have filled the form. Is it going to increase your chances of getting admission by 2 times, 5 times, or 10 times? Okay, so 25% people are saying 2x, 21% are saying 5x, 50% are saying 10x. Okay, we'll wait for another 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's 44% for 10x, and then we have 31% for 5x, and the lowest is 25% for 2x.
perfect. So that is exactly what happens. So when you give a call or when you respond back within 5 minutes, you increase your chances of getting admission by 5x to 10x. 10x is actually the right answer. So that is how important speed is when it comes to admission, when it comes to converting these leads to admission, right? Next slide, please. Okay. So lead tracking system. So I showed you exactly what are those 5 matrices that you should record, which starts from impression or reach, clicks, leads, visit, and admission. So that you need to set up a process where you have people, where you have platform, where you are actually recording all the leads that you're getting. So maybe an Excel sheet is a good example of that. You can keep a plain simple Excel sheet where you have recorded all the leads that you have got. You can record the time at which you have got these leads, the time at which you called these leads, what was their response, and so on and so forth, along with details of child, for example, their child's age, the class he or she wants their child to be admitted to, and so on and so forth. So you can record the whole thing in a sheet. At the same time, you have to keep a track of at what time you as a system, as like you as a school is giving calls to these leads. So you need to create a system. This is about that. Next, please. The third thing, after making sure you call your leads within 5 to 10 minutes, after making sure that you have everything recorded on a sheet so for a quick view, the third thing that you should do is a follow up strategy. So just like calling them or maybe discussing it once with a parent is not enough. You need to continuously follow, and these continuous follow ups could be in different ways. You can post on your page, which is specifically targeting people who are interested or who showed interest in your ads or in your post. You can call them directly. Let's say you got the lead today, you discussed it with the parent today, then again tomorrow you called them and you followed up saying, okay, what are your plans? How are you thinking about going forward with it? Do you need any help? These are few things that we provide. If you want, you can come and take a look at that. So these are some way of following up. Maybe you're not selling directly, but you're providing every time. You're calling them and helping them and telling them that you're helping them understand a few things in case they are struggling. Because as a parent, they will be, and you can also talk to them about their pain points or something that they are looking for in a school. And in case you already have that in your school, why not showcase that thing, right? So you can talk about that as well. So that is the follow-up strategy that you should follow. The ideal follow-up strategy until admission is 5 to 7 times, not like on a daily basis. For the initial 1 or 2 calls, you can call the parent with an interval of 1 day. Let's say the first call went out today, then you can call them up tomorrow, and after that, keep at least 2 days gap. 2 days, then 3 days gap for 7 follow-ups. That's it. Don't be after them, because that also prevents them from taking that admission. That looks more salesy, right? And people do often ignore such calls, right? Then they think about that there's something wrong and therefore school is chasing them so much. So just avoid being that one. But yes, you should definitely call them at least 5 to 7 times. At least 5 times is good enough, with a good interval in between. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah, so like it's shown here, the first call should go in within 5 minutes. Second call could be same day or next day. If they did not answer, you should call it on the same day. If they answered the first call, definitely on not on that very day, then you should call them up on the next day, and so on and so forth, with the interval of 48, 2 days, 3 days, and so on. Next slide, please. Um, this is a question I wanted to ask, but I think it's too late, so I'll not stick here. But yeah, uh, um, yeah. So that is pretty much what I wanted to show. exactly what you should do on the platform, how you can leverage it, what you should post, and how you should chase parents, and when you should do that. When should be the awareness phase, when should be the lead generation phase, when should be the admission phase, and how you should cater to these leads. How do you handle these leads, right? So, yeah, I think I am pretty much done with the pointers that I wanted to discuss on the steps of how to create pages or groups. You'll get these slides. You can like follow the steps that's given. And other than that, in case you have any questions, I can answer that.
I
Garima,
think
over to
we
you.
can take up the questions. Let me just see what questions we have. Uh, Page or group which would target more audience, Jawahir Rahi is asking.
Mhm. So page anytime will target more audience, which will reach more audiences. And it's a more trusted format, a trusted place to have.
Then we have Venkatesh who is asking, how can we use FB for a startup school?
Okay,
I
so Venkateshi, if it's a startup school, how you can go about it? Start with a simple page. Start posting about how you have just started off with the schools, how many students are there, not like the count of students, but you can show a video of students coming in the school, showing different elements of your school, such as recess time, sports period, music period, different classrooms. If there are any activity based classrooms that you have, you can show videos of those classrooms, and try to create a portfolio of your school on Facebook via this particular page. So try to put as many posts as possible, of course with a regular interval of time. Right. Once like that we missed, Karma, if you can move on to the next slide, that is actually going to give you some more sense on how you should post about it. Garima, the next slide, please. So this is the checklist that you can follow while posting it, but the idea is you should start posting small and big things about your school. Since you have just started with your school, start with scratch. Start with like morning prayers. Start with how students drive the um, uh, like assembly, how sports or march, for example, a marching student parade can be shown in a video. That is something that you can post about, and start posting these small things, right? Values of your schools, teachers who are there in your school, start posting their qualification, how are they teaching, like if they, some of them are PhD holders, put about that, right? So these are some small posts that you can start off with.
Uh,
Yeah.
we have another question from Narsimhan who is asking that what can be the ideal video duration?
The ideal video duration for a post becomes a broader topic. I'll explain you why. When you're talking about admission, when there's a specific action that you want parents to take, such as filling the lead form, the ideal duration is under 30 seconds. But when you're talking about your school, talking about your school, creating awareness, or just posting or creating portfolio for a school, the ideal video duration is under 2 minutes. 1.5 minutes is good enough.
Okay, we have another question which says, will lead generation forms work in rural areas?
Everywhere. Lead generation forms are the simplest of all. The reason being, Facebook itself fills a lot of fields. For example, if I am filling a form, my name, my phone number, my location will be auto filled, and therefore, a person who's just clicking on your ad has to just submit the form. So it works in rural as well as urban areas.
Uh, Thank you so much, Soumya. Then we have Jigisha's question asking, can we put an active link in the caption?
You can definitely put an active link, but then in that case, you need to keep a close tab on who's filling on that link or who's clicking on that link. Because I'm pretty sure you would want to understand how many people are interacting with the link, or who are interested in your link, right? So you need to have a tracking code along with that.
Okay, thank you, Soumya, again. Then we have another question from Suman. She is asking, please let us also know how will we be getting visibility after we post something in our FB page to people who have not subscribed to our page or follow our page in the vicinity or stay in the city itself.
Okay, so for that, Facebook gives us statistics. So when you're creating a page, it will allow you to see the statistics of your post. So when you click on the statistics, you can see how many followers interacted with your page and how many non-followers interacted with your page or post. So it allows you to do that. In case you're not able to find that, you can message or email us. We'll send you the step-by-step or the screenshots of how it looks like.
Okay, we can take up one last question, which is from Varun. They're asking, shall we have to do videography or content for the full year? Because costing is also a factor.
Correct. So, and therefore, you don't have to do that. As a school, you already have a lot of events that happens. A simple video taken from a phone can be posted online because it's not, at least on the group part, you can post a simple video that you have just recorded via your like via your phone, right? Other than that, for your page, suppose there is some sophisticated, a proper, professional video or a content that you want to post, you can make use of AI. And Garima, if you don't mind, can you move to the next slide? I think I might have shared the tools as well, which I can show. Next slide. Yes. Okay. So these are yeah. These are some of the tools that you can make use of creating these video which looks professional, right? And so how you go about it, you take a simple video or image or a photo, you click a photo via your phone, and then you use, let's say, Canva. Go and upload these videos. There are a lot of templates, right? Just put down text and everything. It's auto explanatory, right? It's very simple. You just have to drag and drop. You just have to drag your video there. It will come. You have to write down something in case you want to place a text somewhere. You want to write your school name or teacher name or principal name, something like that. So you can mention that and then you can post it. But that's not like the showstopper. You can go ahead with a simple video that you have recorded from your phone. And in fact, you can encourage your teachers to make these posts and then they can share that with you. You can encourage them to make posts about their classroom of students in their class for different things that they do. And then you can use those posts.
I think we are short on time, so rest questions we will not be able to answer, but there will be a survey form link in the chat window. You can post your questions there and also give us a feedback on how did you like the webinar, please. Thank you so much, Soumya, again for doing this. We learned a lot. I think all of us, I can vouch for all of us that we learned a lot about how we can use Facebook to boost admissions. Thanks a lot. I will take 2 more minutes to just introduce lead group to all of you.
Thank you, Garima. I'll just take a minute. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for interrupting. Actually, I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm really sorry we couldn't take all the questions, but you can share your questions and I'll try to answer them. Garima, please send across those questions. I'll try to answer
Sure.
all of them.
Thanks.
I hope it helped. In case not, in case of any queries, you can directly message or call me as well or email me as well. That's gonna be perfectly fine. But thank you so much, everyone, for being such a great audience. I hope it helped.
Thank you,
Well,
Soumya.
thank you.
I think it definitely helped. You explained it in a very, very interactive way and very simple words. So yeah, I think everybody would have understood. Thanks a lot. I will now take 2 minutes to introduce lead group to the audience. Also, one more request, that we have the survey form in the chat window. Please take the survey, give us the feedback, how it was. Okay, so Lead Group is the #1 school edtech company in the country, and we offer learning systems to schools. What is a learning system? A learning system it is an integrated system, including curriculum, pedagogy, and technology. Uh, to give you a sense of where we are and what is our reach. So we are in 400 plus cities of the country. We have partnered with more than 8,500 schools. We work with 60,000 plus teachers and 36 lakh plus students. Our motto is to provide excellent education, to make excellent education accessible to each and every child of the country. So what you get in the with the learning system is you get books, you get audiovisual learning possible through TVs in each classroom. Then we also provide you with student activity kits. There are three kinds of products that we offer, three kinds of learning systems: a lead learning system, Pinnacle Plus learning system, and Propel learning system. And they can be customized for the kind of school that you have. Maybe it is a medium length school, or a very huge school with more number of students. We have customizable solutions for all types. You can reach out to us on the number given on the screen. Please take a screenshot if you want to know more about how LEAD can help you transform your school. You can also mail us at partner@leadschool.in or call us. It is very easy to reach out to us, and we will definitely answer all of your questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for being patient, and thanks again. Thank you, Soumya, for agreeing to do this. We all learned a lot, even me for sure. We all learned a lot. Thank you, everyone. Please take the survey and let us know how you found the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.